Hey folks, Juan here with DexCan. I've been tasked with finding a replacement TMS system for our practice down in Southern Colorado Springs. For those of you who may not know, we have a private practice, a psychiatric outpatient center down in Southern Colorado Springs, and we do medication management, psychotherapy, and TMS, which is transcranial magnetic stimulation. We've been doing TMS for a long time. At Bright Future, since we launched, basically month one, we started delivering TMS. I've been involved with TMS since my University of Florida days back in 2013. Um, Very exciting technology, very cool. It's stayed pretty cutting edge even through now. It keeps evolving. So what is TMS? TMS stands for transcranial magnetic stimulation. It was FDA cleared in 2008 for treatment-resistant depression, which is a form of depression that patients, after they've tried medications, they've tried psychotherapy, they've tried other things, nothing is just it's not working. It's not bringing them out of their depression, or at least not to a state where the patient is any form of happy. Um, and so we take essentially a MRI strength magnetic pulse and deliver it to a very particular part of the brain, or known as the left dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which is an area right in here in the left front side of your forehead, basically. Um, so I'm not a provider. I am all operations. I am all everything else, but I am not a provider. So do your own research. Ask your provider for details. Um, so anyhow, we're wanting to replace our MagStim Rapid 2 system, which some of you who are in the TMS world may be giggling at that it's January 2023. I'm looking to replace my Rapid 2. I am. It's fine. That thing is a beast, and it's worked so well for hundreds of clients since we acquired it. However, we want some of the newer features, in particular, the ability to do Theta Burst, the ability to do NeuroNav, other things of that nature that make it easier for our providers and for technicians and to operate, and for our clients to have a little bit more flexibility, whether they want to do Theta, which essentially delivers what used to take half an hour. It can be done now in about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on certain specifics. And so, it expands our abilities, basically. So, if y'all haven't noticed, I'm wearing my Voodoo Donut shirt. I love my Voodoo Donuts. Been over in Portland to the original site. It was amazing. All right, so this task is it's a fun one because it involves all sorts of other skills. The other skills being dealing with um, medical manufacturer sales reps. Those folks are a whole different breed. I love them. I love this industry. Um, but I need a game plan coming in, because if not, I could end up with a system, recommending a system to my CEO that isn't the best for us. So that in itself is complicated to determine, because there are about, I don't know, about 10, 12 TMS manufacturers now, um, and they all do very similar things. And so the differentiator is, well, it's complicated. And so that's why I'm putting a game plan together. And I thought, if I'm doing this now, I bet you others are going to be doing it in the near future as well. I've been paid lots of money to do this type of thing before, um, and it's been great. But I want to try a different approach. This shouldn't be some secret what we're doing, what I'm about to get into in terms of finding a new TMS system. This shouldn't be a secret how it's done. It should also be a secret how we compare things and what do we value as the important um, features, functions, And then also the business model itself, depending on the system, you can one day pay it out completely, or you'll keep paying in perpetuity until you either get a new system or their business model changes, which is very difficult for medical manufacturers to change their business model. So you got to make the right call. I'm gonna share my list here with you. Present Windows. There we go. So this is my list. So I use um, the OneNote platform through Microsoft to keep track of these types of things. Here's my name, DuckScan. Here's my various tabs. Good, have fun with those. All right, so love OneNote. Yes, it is. It is 4:01 in the morning. That's what we do, folks. We get up early, we stay up late, we figure it out. Operations rules. All right, so let's look a little closer here so you could read the content. All right, so I am looking to buy a new TMS system. So questions that come up that I have for ourselves, having been in the market. By the way, before I get too much further, I did work with MagStim for a time, and I was in charge of developing their um, business development, basically from a new company having purchased one of these systems, how to integrate it into their practice, because that's a whole different conversation. But I did work with MagStim. They are not paying me to do this. I am out to find the best system for my employer, which is Bright Future Psychiatry. So there you go. All right. So decide. So yeah, first thing you decide if you want to either purchase a new one or upgrade your system. What would you do? This is what I'm going to do. So I've reached out to the top 3 manufacturers. Like I said, there's 10, 12 now. Some made in the United States, some made in Europe, some made in other places. We'll get into all that as the journey continues. So one of the first things I want is I am requesting information on their top system and the one right below it as well, because I want options. I want to see different versions, because the cost structure is very different with these systems. And um, and the top system, is it something that's 100% necessary? No. So I want to know my other options as well. So request their info and then develop a comparison. So I've got to do a bells and whistles comparison, basically. Features, functions, bells and whistles. I'm basically probably going to lay it out, and I'll share it with y'all. I'm going to lay out just a simple Excel, and does it do A, B, C, D, E, and then compare and contrast. I hope that one of the reps actually has that for me, because that would be amazing. These folks, the sales reps, they are amazing. They know their product like nobody else that I've ever met. In terms of other reps, TMS reps are amazing. And they should be a resource for you. So they should be bringing you content. They should be bringing all sorts of information to tell you why you should go with their system. I don't know what I did there. Okay. Want a live demo for each system. So that means myself and my CMO go play with the machine, check out the system. It should be a very fun experience, but it should be very tailored to how am I going to use this thing on a daily basis? I don't want to just walk into a room and see a system. I want it turned on. I want you to show me everything it does. I want to know about, do they have an integrated client management system? Do they connect to the web? Am I able to access information remotely? So if I have a second, third, fourth site, I want to know everything. And so I want a live demo with each system so I can play with the machine, so my provider can play with the machine. I use the word play very loosely. We don't play with these systems, but learn as much as we can during the site visit. And if they don't have a place to demo, so like they don't have a headquarters here in the US where they can show me the system, then take me somewhere where I could see it. I want to go to a clinical operation then. Take me to your flagship, basically, so that I could see a real live clinic using your system. And I have questions for them. Many questions, always with the questions. One always has questions. And data, I want data. All right, so visit at least one clinical account. So I did a live demo. I visited a clinical account, and clinical is very different. The word clinical means clinical. It means an outpatient setting, or it means a hospital system. I want to go into an operation and see it, as opposed to research. And a lot of people don't know that there's a difference between clinical and research, and as it pertains to a center, and that's okay. All right, I also want to know the nuts and bolts. Put me in touch with, can you put me in touch with a lender? Such an important question. Have the lenders worked with a medical device company before? Have they sold machines before? Have they, in terms of medical equipment, if they've never done it, the numbers are going to scare them because these systems aren't cheap. We're looking at north of 100 grand for a system that an outpatient mental health clinic uses. That's a deep investment. Psychiatry isn't normally a procedure-based service. It's more you and I get in front of each other and we figure out the details of what's going on in your life and how are we going to address it from a medication standpoint or a therapy standpoint or a combo, hopefully, of the two. And so psychiatry, it's taking a long time for psychiatry to evolve into this outpatient procedure. But man, for those that are doing it, it's a game changer. All right, so has the lender sold to medical before? Have they sold to clinics before? Have they sold TMS systems before? Have they been part of the selling process? Have they funded? Those details are important because if you're asking for 100 grand, north of 100 grand on some medical device, the lender, if they don't believe that you can do what you say you're going to do with this machine, and if they don't understand the machine, then you're going to have a hard time. We're going to be paying really high interest rate. It is kind of like purchasing a house. So it's going to be that kind of loan, and you want someone who's done it before. And yeah, I needed to explain why that's important. Some of these notes are, a lot of this stuff is for me to help solve my own problems. But if it's a problem that I feel I need to solve for myself, then folks out there probably have very similar problems because there's nothing unique about what we're doing, but we just have a different approach on things. All right, do they have ongoing support post-acquisition? If so, what does it look like? What does that mean? What's their training program? What's in terms of coming on site and working with your marketing department, working with your data analytics department, working with any of your different various departments, and working with your TMS techs, working with your TMS providers? What does it look like specifically? And does the clinical account that we went and visited, do they sustain, do they support, like say, yeah, you know what, they do what they say they're going to do? Not all of them do. Let's see, describe how we will get our providers and tech certified with your system. Specifically, do you have a workforce that's going to come to my site and train up one of my new providers that I need to get certified to become a TMS provider with that particular system. Do you have, if I hire 5 more providers over the next year, will you be able to come in and train my providers up so that I can, so that as an operation, I have more flexibility on who can do the mapping and all the other things that go into TMS. Okay, what options do you have to help market our clinic? That's an interesting one. Will they list us on my website in terms, as in Bright Future Psychiatry? Will they list my website on their website as a treatment center? Are they going to provide me with a buy-up on that? So like, if I move with their system and they put me on their website, can I advertise on their website? What other options are there? Is it a simple listing, expanded options? Yeah. Social media. Are you going to promote me through LinkedIn, through Twitter, through Facebook? What's your marketing plan for me, for my practice? Now, again, it's not that all of them have it, but some of them do. And so that's where my grid, I love grids, my grid of comparison, it's going to help me decide on my top 2. Do they provide printed content that I can put in my clinic for information on the system itself? And then not just that, but do you have a place for me to put my label? It's obviously the manufacturer's brochures or rack card or whatever they provide, but there should be a space for me to put my label. So it's not like any of these centers, any of these medical device companies have centers. They don't. They have machines that they sell, and that's their structure. I want to be able to put, this is Bright Futures on your content, on their content, and I want to be able to distribute that to my referral base and say, hey, if you want TMS, come to my center. Here's a handout regarding, explaining what TMS is, and then they have my information to come and visit online or on site or call me or whatever. Let's see, which protocols have been FDA cleared as of today? So today is January 25th, 2023. Not all systems have been FDA cleared for anything other than TRD, which is treatment-resistant depression. So which systems have which coverage, which clearance through the FDA? So there's several that have had the OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder protocol, approved through their system. Great. Do you have any others? Have you submitted? And I realize that kind of information is more sensitive. However, you should be able to answer what protocols have you submitted for clearance, or what protocols are you looking to submit for clearance in the future. There's rules around some of that, so they're professionals and they'll share what they are allowed to share as it pertains to that. But at the very least, everybody's cleared for TRD. The other one is so I do these I've done this so much that I just spit out information here. So the other one is Theta able. So that it's just a note for myself. It is, are you able to deliver Theta Burst? What is are there any papers? Are there any papers you can share regarding pulse width and pulse oh boy, I'm doing this one on recording. Deterioration. How do you spell deterioration? I'm terrible. No, that's hilarious. Folks, how do you spell deterioration? I am butchering this poor word. This is hilarious. Deterioration. Holy crap, really? That's how you. All right, so pulse deterioration. So what does pulse width and pulse deterioration mean? What's theta burst? So a theta burst is um, well, at least we can spell theta. Uh, the theta burst is basically a frequency, and it is long and short. You can deliver the 3,000 necessary pulses. Um, 3,000 pulses is what you get per treatment. You can deliver those 3,000 pulses depending on the motor threshold, which if you're in the field, you know what that means. Um, Depending on the motor threshold, you can deliver those 3,000 pulses in as little as like 3 minutes. It used to take 30 minutes. That's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. And from what I hear from my friends out there, because I have many friends in healthcare as well and in psychiatry, they half of the clients like it, half of the clients don't. And because you lose the human piece, the human interaction aspect of it, there's a whole other 10 hours that we can dive into that. But you lose that human touch if you do it too quickly, and oftentimes that helps with calming the patients down and just an overall better experience. But the other half that like I love it because they're working professionals and they don't they don't earmark time to take care of themselves as much as any of us should. I've been up for an hour already. Am I taking care of myself? I think I am. Because I went to sleep early. So it basically makes it to where you can deliver it super quick. But I want to know specifically papers. So what we mean by papers is when we ask for papers, it means something that's been peer reviewed. It's been publicized somewhere as a peer-reviewed. So like somebody like Yale, I think, or Harvard did a review on the pulse with um, how the clients feel the pulse on their head. Thank goodness for major institutions. And one of them came back as the best. It felt the best to the patient. That was Maxim. Again, I'm not trying to be biased here, but Maxim did come out. It was Harvard or Yale or whoever, Yale, who did the study, and the Maxim system it did come out with much better patient experience. So I want to see the papers. Are there any other papers? Pulse and the pulse deterioration is a very interesting thing that no one seems to be asking. There's 40 pulses per train. That's the standard FDA protocol. Between pulse one and pulse two, and pulse two and pulse three, and pulse three and pulse four. Between those pulses and between pulse one and pulse 40 in the train, did the energy stay consistent? Not all the systems do. If one of the manufacturers is looking at watching this, they're gonna they're going to make a major thing about this. By they, I mean insurance companies. So I hope somebody's paying attention to this from the medical device side. Post deterioration, it's important. If my provider says that the MT is say we called it at 55%. I don't know, nice low MT, and the energy is now being delivered say at 100%. Again, if you're in the market, you know what that means. The pulse pulse one pulse one should deliver at 55% of the MT. But what they found in certain machines, certain systems, is that you may start on pulse one at 55%. By pulse 40, it's down to 52%. So it starts perfect and then it deteriorates by pulse 40. So is my patient getting what my provider prescribed? That's the difference in dosing, and that is going to be a huge point of contention. So anyhow, I'm very passionate about this stuff. I love it. All right, what are the consumables? Consumables. Some of the machines have uh, parts that you need to use per patient, per session, per this, per that. So it can get expensive long term. I want to know, what are your consumables? And what's the manufacturer's business model? How do they make their money? Is it just a one and done, or is there ongoing consultants that they work with? What can they offer me? Are they a public or private company? If so, where are they listed? Also, because that'll tell me if I can go and research further if they've been in trouble for whatever. I want to know what the dirt is, um, because it could help me make a decision. And where are they from? Oh, my face. Where's the system manufactured? Where's the data kept? Very interesting days. You should know where those two answers are. If nothing else, that should really help narrow down any company that is any clinic that's looking to purchase a system. Um, where is it manufactured? Where's the data kept? Where's the warehouse? For those of you who don't know, data lives in warehouse. It doesn't actually live in the cloud. There is no cloud. The cloud is some farm out in a state in the Midwest that's like Fort Knox, and data lives there. There's machines. It's okay. Present the following to each. Oh, I'm going to tell you the question before I tell it to my reps. So I'm committing to purchasing one of these TMS systems over the next few weeks. Why should I choose your system? I need an answer. Knowing that I'm doing this, I'm doing my homework, I'm doing my research. Oh, and then from there, actually, I need my top two based on basically my experience and the grid of comparisons and the ongoing support. So that's my initial game plan. That's where I'm starting. I'm gonna have fun with this because I think what I'm gonna do is walk you through the experience of purchasing one of these systems. Very exciting. I remember when we got our first system, I was like a little kid, just excited to watch it be brought off the truck. Very cool. All right, so more to come, folks. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear your questions or your experience. Post it. Please subscribe and post your comments. I'd love to get into a conversation about this. I am very passionate about TMS and about psychiatry, and I'll get into all that soon enough. Thank you for your time. Please post on there your questions. Thank you.